Life Philosophies Unleashed.
Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a cliff, and everything you've ever known is behind you. The familiar terrain, the comfort, the routines, the certainty, it's all back there. But ahead? Nothing but fog and the unknown. You're not sure whether to take a step forward or retreat. This feeling, this moment of standing on the edge, is terrifying and exhilarating all at once. This is where many people find themselves before a spiritual breakthrough. Everything starts to feel unstable: relationships, jobs, even your sense of self. It's as if the ground beneath you is shifting, forcing you to question everything. And here's the thing, this isn't a punishment or a failure. This is the universe nudging you to wake up. Think of it like a seed buried in the soil. At first, it's safe and snug, surrounded by darkness. But when it starts to grow, the ground around it breaks apart. The seedling must push through layers of dirt, reaching for the light. That breaking, that struggle, is necessary for its transformation. Right now, you might feel like that seedling surrounded by darkness, unsure of which way is up. You might feel lost or stuck in a loop, replaying the same scenarios in your head, wondering, why does this keep happening to me? But what if I told you that this discomfort isn't a sign of failure? It's a sign of growth. Before every major transformation, there's tension, a buildup of energy that feels almost unbearable. It's like the moment right before a thunderstorm, when the air is thick and the sky is heavy with clouds. But instead of a storm that destroys, this one will wash away everything that no longer serves you. Think of all the great stories you've heard about transformation. Whether it's the caterpillar becoming a butterfly or the phoenix rising from the ashes, there's always a moment of chaos before the beauty emerges. You're in that moment now. And though it might feel like you're falling apart, you're actually breaking open, making space for the new, hitting the wall. Have you ever felt like you've hit a wall so hard it knocks the wind out of you? Like no matter what you do, you can't seem to move forward? It's frustrating, isn't it? You might be putting in all the effort reading the books, meditating, journaling, seeking advice, but still feel stuck. Like you're running on a treadmill, going nowhere. But here's a truth that might surprise you. Hitting that wall isn't the end of the road. It's actually the clearest sign that you're on the verge of a breakthrough. Think about it right before water boils. The pot trembles. Right before a seed breaks through the soil, the ground shifts. Growth doesn't come without resistance. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. At the base, the path is gentle, the air is fresh, and your steps feel light. But as you ascend, the trail gets steeper. The air thins. Your legs burn, and every step feels like a battle. It's exhausting, and you might even think about turning back. But here's the thing, the hardest part of the climb means you're close to the summit. If you stop now, you'll miss the view you've been working so hard for. This is exactly what happens on your spiritual journey. When life feels like it's testing you, throwing obstacles your way, making you question your strength, it's not because you're failing. It's because you're leveling up. These challenges are refining you, just like fire refines gold. Let me ask you this. What would happen if you leaned into the struggle instead of resisting it? What if, instead of seeing the wall as a dead end, you saw it as a signpost that says, almost there? The truth is, the universe isn't here to make you suffer. It's here to help you grow. But growth requires stretching beyond your limits. It requires facing discomfort, pushing past fear, and trusting that the process is unfolding exactly as it should. The butterfly and the cocoon. There's a story you might have heard about a butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon. A man, watching the butterfly's struggle, decides to help. He gently cuts the cocoon open, thinking he's saving the butterfly from its pain. But when the butterfly finally emerges, something's wrong. Its wings are weak, its body is fragile, and it can't fly. What the man didn't realize is that the struggle was essential. It was through pushing against the cocoon that the butterfly strengthened its wings, preparing for flight. Without that struggle, the butterfly was doomed to a life without freedom. You are that butterfly. The challenges you're facing right now? They're your cocoon. The resistance, the discomfort, the frustration, it's all part of the process. It's not there to break you, it's there to make you stronger. Think about it. When you go to the gym, you lift weights to build muscle. It's not easy, and sometimes it hurts, but the strain is what makes you stronger. The same is true for your spiritual journey. The weight you're carrying now is preparing you to soar later. But here's the catch. You can't skip this part. You can't rush it, and no one can do it for you. Just like the butterfly, you have to push through on your own. So, the next time you feel like screaming, "Why me?" remember the butterfly. Remember that the struggle isn't pointless. It's shaping you into the person you're meant to be. It's building your wings. And when you finally emerge from this cocoon, you won't just survive, you'll thrive. You'll look back at this moment, at all the tears, the doubts, and the fears, and you'll realize it was all worth it. Because without this struggle, you wouldn't have become who you're meant to be. Quiet breakthroughs when transformation whispers. Let's clear something up. A spiritual breakthrough isn't always a Hollywood moment. There's no lightning bolt from the sky, no choir of angels singing in the background. In fact, it's often the opposite. Breakthroughs are quiet, subtle, and sometimes even mundane. Think of it like this: when the sun rises after a long, dark night, it doesn't explode into the sky with fireworks. It peaks over the horizon, soft and steady. At first, you might not even notice it. But then, slowly, everything is illuminated. That's how spiritual breakthroughs happen. They creep up on you, gently transforming your perspective until one day, you realize everything looks different. You might expect a grand, undeniable sign, something that slaps you in the face and says, "This is it." But more often, breakthroughs come as whispers. They're the quiet moments of clarity that emerge when you least expect them. Maybe it's a thought that suddenly clicks, or a wave of peace that washes over you during an otherwise ordinary day. And that's the beauty of it. These quiet moments aren't any less powerful than the dramatic ones. In fact, they're often more profound because they come from within. They're not forced, they're felt. But here's the catch: you have to be paying attention. How often do we miss the small miracles in our lives because we're too busy looking for something bigger? We're so focused on the thunder and lightning that we miss the gentle rain nurturing the soil. So, what does this mean for you? It means that your breakthrough might already be happening right under your nose. It's in the subtle shifts in your mindset, the small decisions you're making differently, and the quiet moments when your heart feels just a little lighter. Take a moment to reflect. Have you noticed these small shifts in your own life? Maybe you've started questioning old beliefs or feeling drawn to new ideas. Maybe you've experienced fleeting moments of gratitude or peace, even amidst the chaos. These are signs. These are whispers. The key is to lean into them. Slow down. Listen. Let the breakthrough reveal itself in its own time, because when it does, you'll realize that the quiet moments were never small. They were the foundation for the transformation you've been waiting for. Clearing space when things start to leave your life. Let's talk about loss for a moment. Nobody likes it. Whether it's the end of a relationship, a career shift, or even the simple act of letting go of a habit. Loss can feel like the universe is pulling the rug out from under you. But what if it's not loss at all? What if it's preparation? When you're on the verge of a spiritual breakthrough, one of the clearest signs is that things or people start leaving your life. And it's not because you've done something wrong. It's because the universe is making space for what's next. Think of it like cleaning out a cluttered closet. At first, it's overwhelming. You're holding onto clothes you haven't worn in years, wondering if you might need them someday. But as you start letting go, you realize how much lighter you feel. And by the end, that empty space feels like freedom, not loss. The same thing happens in your spiritual journey. Old relationships, beliefs, and habits that no longer serve you will naturally fall away. It might feel painful in the moment after all. Letting go is never easy, but trust that it's happening for a reason. Here's a question to ponder. What are you holding on to right now that's weighing you down? Is it a toxic relationship that drains your energy? A belief that you're not good enough? A habit that keeps you stuck? Sometimes we cling to these things out of fear. Fear of change, fear of the unknown, fear of being alone. But here's the truth. You can't step into your next chapter if you're still carrying the baggage of the last one. Time feels strange. Have you ever felt like time has been playing tricks on you? Like it's speeding up one moment and slowing down the next? It's a strange sensation, isn't it? 1 minute, hours feel like seconds, and the next minutes drag on endlessly. This isn't just in your head. It's a sign that you're beginning to align with something greater, something beyond the ordinary constraints of time. When you're on the verge of a spiritual breakthrough, your perception of time begins to shift. Think of it like being in the zone, or what psychologists call flow state. Have you ever been so immersed in an activity that you lose track of time? It's as if you've stepped out of the clock's grip and into a timeless space. This happens more frequently as you approach a breakthrough because you're tapping into a higher frequency one that isn't bound by the ticking of a clock. But why does this happen? Time, as we know it, is a human construct. It's how we organize our lives, but it's not the ultimate reality. When you're on the brink of a breakthrough, you begin to resonate more with your higher self, your infinite self. And in that space, time feels fluid, almost irrelevant. This shift can feel disorienting at first. You might catch yourself wondering, where did the day go? Or, how has it only been an hour? But instead of resisting it, lean into it. These moments of timelessness are glimpses into a deeper truth, that you're more than your schedule, more than your deadlines, more than the ticking clock. Pay attention to when this happens. Are you in deep thought? Meditating? Engaging in something that lights you up? These moments aren't random. They're invitations to explore the state of flow and connection. Synchronicities, the universe's breadcrumbs. Have you ever thought of someone and they suddenly text or call you? Or maybe you're mulling over a big decision and out of nowhere, a random quote, conversation, or even a song lyric gives you the exact clarity you need? These are what we call synchronicities, and they're one of the most magical signs that you're on the verge of a spiritual breakthrough. But here's the thing. Synchronicities aren't coincidences. They're the universe's way of speaking to you, guiding you, and reminding you that you're on the right path. Think of them as breadcrumbs, gently nudging you forward through the forest of life. Imagine walking through a dense fog. It's hard to see where you're going, and every step feels uncertain. But then you start noticing little signs of feather on the ground, a flicker of light, the sound of running water in the distance. These aren't just random occurrences. They're guiding you. That's what synchronicities feel like. But why do they happen? When you're aligning with a higher state of being, your energy shifts. You begin to vibrate at a frequency that connects you more deeply with the flow of the universe. And in that flow, everything starts to align. The signs show up not because the universe has suddenly started caring about you. It's always cared, but because you're finally tuned in enough to notice. Dreams. The messages in the night. Have your dreams been unusually vivid lately? Maybe you're seeing strange symbols, people from your past, or situations that feel oddly significant. This isn't just your subconscious playing tricks on you, it's your inner self trying to communicate. Dreams are one of the most powerful tools for spiritual growth. And when you're on the verge of a breakthrough, they often become louder, clearer, and more meaningful. Think of your subconscious mind as a deep ocean. Most of the time, we're only aware of what's on the surface, the day-to-day thoughts, tasks, and worries. But during sleep, that surface quiets, and the deeper waters reveal themselves. This is where the magic happens. When you're approaching a spiritual breakthrough, your subconscious works overtime to process the shifts happening within you. Your dreams act like a mirror, reflecting back the changes, fears, and desires you might not even be aware of during your waking hours. For example, you might dream of flying, symbolizing freedom and the release of old limitations. Or you might dream of being lost in a maze, which could reflect the confusion you're feeling as you navigate this transformative phase. These dreams aren't random. They're packed with messages. Here's the trick. Don't just shrug them off. Start a dream journal. As soon as you wake up, write down everything you remember, no matter how strange or insignificant it seems. Over time, you'll start to notice patterns and themes that give you insight into your journey. Disconnection and connection, a paradox. Here's a paradox that might resonate with you as you get closer to a spiritual breakthrough. You might feel more disconnected than ever. It's like the world you once fit into suddenly feels too small. Old conversations bore you, familiar places feel foreign, and even your closest relationships might start to feel distant. At the same time, there's this deep, unshakable sense of connection bubbling beneath the surface. It's as if you're tethered to something much bigger, a universal energy, a higher purpose, or your truest self. Why does this happen? Growth. When you're about to transform, you start shedding the parts of your life that no longer align with who you're becoming. It's like a snake shedding its skin or a hermit crab finding a bigger shell. The disconnection you feel is a natural part of this process. It's making room for a deeper connection to your true self and the universe. But let's not sugarcoat it. This phase can feel lonely. You might find yourself questioning everything. Why don't I enjoy the things I used to? Why do I feel so out of place? These feelings aren't a sign that something's wrong with you. They're proof that you're evolving. Imagine a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. During the chrysalis stage, the caterpillar doesn't just grow wings. It completely dissolves into a goo-like state before rebuilding itself. It's messy, uncomfortable, and isolating. But on the other side, freedom, flight, transformation. This is exactly what's happening to you. The disconnection is temporary, and it's necessary for the connection that's coming. So, what can you do during this phase? Embrace it. Instead of resisting the changes, lean into them. Spend time alone, reflect on what's no longer serving you, and allow yourself to grieve the parts of your life that are falling away. And most importantly, trust that this disconnection is leading you somewhere beautiful. Like the butterfly, you're dissolving the old to make space for the new. And when you finally spread your wings, you'll realize that every moment of discomfort was worth it.